Hello, hello, hello. I apologize. I am so sorry that I am late. I was watching the coverage of this police brutality that happened on today. So I want to know if all of you have watched the coverage. Oops, sorry about that. I want to know if all of you have watched the coverage of the Tyrese Nichols um, just brutal beating by these officers. Um, Let me know if you guys have seen the footage. The footage has body cam footage, overhead camera footage has been released, and let me know if you've guys seen it. I'm gonna say hello to I just be cooling with the crew, Miss Sugar, Tamika McMillan. Hello, thank you guys for joining me. Cooling says, I'm finna watch it now. I have not, but I'm sure it's sickening. It it is it's very, very sickening. Okay, blessed, how are you doing? Watching from the skies. Yes, I've watched. Tamika McMillan, no, I didn't get to see it. Okay, Tamika, yes, you can Google any news channel on the footage of the Tyree. You can Google any. Excuse me. You can Google any news channel. They have it on YouTube under different news sites. Tyree Nichols um, beating or body cam, whichever one. And I want you guys to have this conversation with me about what you guys saw on this footage. Hey, BL, so nice to see you. Welcome, BL. Okay, Miss Sugar said, I stopped at camera 3 footage, couldn't watch no more. Watching from the sky, yes, I've watched. Okay, no, I didn't see it. BL, thank you for joining me, BL. Yeah, I saw it, cuz. Hello, Very Carrie. I'm up here. Thank you, Very. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Kwani, hello. The video is sickening. I definitely agree with you, Kwani. And wait, it was black cops who did this? Yes. I definitely want to talk about that too. Um, there were 5 black cops fired, and they are facing second degree murder charges and kidnapping charges due to this brutal assault. Hey, Kay Chanel, thank you for coming. Okay, Tazjur, hello, Ronnie Q. Old bridge is shut down. They are trying to shut down the new bridge in and out from Arizona and Memphis. I'm here in the city. Yeah, I hear that Memphis, Georgia, and it must be Arkansas are preparing for some type of uprising. And Miss Sugar, I counted more than 5 officers as well. And Miss Sugar, in the very first stop, okay, you also see a white officer. When they first pulled the young man out of the car, they it wasn't a traffic stop. They accosted him at a traffic light, is what I saw. And then they immediately were, yelling, screaming, and very violent immediately when and pulled him out of his car, pepper sprayed him, and was roughing him up right there at his own car, and he was complying. They told him to get on the ground. He was on the ground. They didn't do what police officers are supposed to do. They're supposed to tell you the first thing is why they're pulling you over. They did none of that. They immediately pulled him out of the car and started roughing him up, pepper spraying him. He was complying. He was like, okay, okay. At no time did you see him do anything but try to comply with them. One officer had his arm in front of him. He was laying on the ground, but his arm was in front of him, being held by one officer, while the other officer is telling him to roll on his stomach, which he could not do because the officer had his arm held. It was just tragic. And they, at that point, they tasered him as if he was not trying to comply, as if a taser is a form of deadly force. And a pepper spray and tasers are less oh my god, pepper spray and tasers are used as a form of force, and it's less lethal. That's what I'm trying to. I had a mind fart. It's a less lethal um, act of force to get the person to comply, but it is force, and I didn't see any reason why they need to use any force on that young man. Okay, I'm shaken and I'm scared for this city. I really don't blame you, because that was just the first snippet of the video. And then he's able to get on his feet. Hey, Jess Andreas, thank you for joining us. And then he ran towards his house. They said he was 3 doors down from his house when they caught him on the corner. And that beating was so savage and so brutal that it was just really disgusting. Hi, Shell. Thank you for your cash app. Sending love your way, friend. Prayers up for this man's family. Indeed, indeed. I I just, it was just horrible. They beat him down to the ground, and then they stood him up like a rag doll because they were holding him up, and one officer was beating him with a baton, and the other officers, 2 officers, were holding his hands behind his back and actually, leaned up against him to keep him up. His head was hanging down as another officer hit his head with so much force several times. You just see his head just swinging from left to right with every punch. Oh, and let's not forget, when they caught up with him the second time, they were kicking him from swinging their legs from like their butt cheeks all the way back with so much force, just kicking him in the head and face. And one officer who was not on the scene, who showed up at the scene, just came in from a run, put his foot back, and kicked him. That much force just started in on the beating. So this is called the Scorpion team, the Scorpion unit. Okay, the Scorpion unit is used in Memphis as a unit, kind of like a unit to stop crime in high crimes area in Memphis. It's a 8 unit team, and they don't wear typical police clothes. So in the first video, you see they have on, this black clothing and that type of thing. So this is the Scorpion unit, and it seems like the Scorpion unit may treat everyone this way. So let's get down to it. Okay, one of the officers in this raid, his name is, one of the officers who was fired is uh, Demetrius Haley. He was fired uh, for his part in this attack, but Demetrius Haley in 2016 was also on being sued for a person that was beaten in the jail so badly that he was unconscious. Ultimately, the judge dismissed the case because it was found that one of the 3 officers in that case had not been served properly. So the judge dismissed that whole case. So these people are not new to this. It seems like they're true to this. And okay, okay, I was thinking about it and I got nervous. Thank you. I appreciate the insight. Let me see what you guys say. It was so sad to hear. I'm not sure if I'm strong enough to watch the video. I kind of want you guys to watch the video so we could have the conversation about it. But I understand that a lot of you guys don't want to see it because a lot of people cannot, stomach this type of thing. Hello, Miss Boyd. Thank you for showing up. Okay, let's see what else we have. The person that pepper sprayed him was right. Yes, and that's a less lethal use of force. So, at what point did they need that use of force? Because there were three officers there on him, pulling him out of the car. So, what use of force did they need when he was on the ground when he was pepper sprayed? This whole thing was just like totally horrific. Okay, and the first accounts that I got for the reason for them pulling him over was for reckless driving. Hello, Sheba Pisces. But the thing about the pull over for the reckless driving, it was said that the reckless driving was done the day before. So they were pulling him over on this day, allegedly for seeing him uh, doing some reckless driving on the day before. And if you notice that even the police chief said that they had reviewed all the cameras in the area and they saw nowhere where he was doing any reckless driving. Okay, so they beat the man to a pulp. They kick him, use batons on him, don't even, and then drag him and leans him up against a car where he has to wait, render no aid to him. He has to wait over 20 minutes for the paramedics to show up. When the paramedics show up, they hem haw around to the point where two of the paramedics, the first two paramedics who showed up, they have been placed on leave. The fire department is now under scrutiny because of the lack of urgency that the paramedics from that fire department showed and the lack of treatment that they gave this man as well. Okay, I mean the the way that they don't care for our lives is just ridiculous. And I remember I'm from Southern California, and I remember when Ice Cube had a song in one of his lyric. I think it was when they were with NWA or either when Ice Cube went solo, but he basically had a lyric saying that F the police, fuck the police. One of the lyrics was talking about how the black cops show out for the white cops, and a lot of people think that have said in this police brutality spectrum, is there community policing that needs to be had, or do we need more people like us to police us because they understand us and they will have compassion for us? Well, these were five black officers and for sure one white officer who seems not to be facing any type of retribution for his part in this attack. I'm going to call it an attack. But now they said that they are looking into several more officers and investigating several more officers. But isn't it miraculous to you how when these types of things go on with white officers being, and it doesn't make any difference. Okay, but it does make a difference. How quickly these people were shunned, their union didn't protect them. There was no union coming out with no BS talking points. They were immediately fired and charged quickly and swiftly, these five black officers. But that is not the norm in our police society in the United States. So even though I want them to be charged fully and properly as they should have been, why isn't that the norm in the United States policing? Yeah, it was a jumping BL. I agree with you. I was wondering why they even pulled him over. Yes, it was because allegedly he had been. They were pulling him over for reckless driving that he had done the day before, and this is not a one-off for this department because I'm going to show you some information where they have a habit of pulling people over for things that happened in the past that they want to check up on. Uh, to be detained, they have to have to be detained by the police officer. They have to have a reasonable reasonable. Say it for Michelle Whitfield. Reasonable articulate. Artic, they should be able to tell you what crime they think you have committed, was about to commit, or in the midst of committing. Articulable. Yes, that's the word. So, um, what crime were they pulling him over for? If he did it yesterday, then why are they pulling him over today? They had no crime that he had committed that day. You can't pull him over for a crime that you say you saw him commit yesterday and then come at him with such force that this is what you're doing. That's against the law. That's against your rights. But nobody cares about our rights. All 5 officers are out on bail right now. I'm shaking and in tears over this. I'm tired of the behavior from police officers and um, shaking my head. And another thing, after they did all this beating and stuff, in this one cop had kicked him so much that he was limping because he hurt his foot, and he's limping around there. After they did all of this, then you see them with smiles on their faces. You hear them getting their stories together, just lying. Yeah, man, he was so strong. You see how thin this man are. You see these big brutes on this force, and they're talking like like they always do, like the person has superhuman strength, and it took all the 5 of us to do all of this to this so strong young man who was complying when we pulled him over. Yeah, no, you're lying. And they also said that he reached for my gun. Yeah, he came right out of the car and he grabbed my gun. Yeah, he totally grabbed his gun. He had his hand on it and everything. Just lying. Just lying to justify what you did to your own humankind. What that it's just like, is it community community policing, or is it the culture of policing? That's what I want to talk about today. See, because it doesn't matter what color the police officer is, the police culture in the United States is just this. And once they start making it okay, like the Rodney King beating, I remember that was the first major beating that was captured on tape, that had the officers go to trial, that the officers were able to be found innocent of that brutal beating by saying, oh, well, you see, he flinched here. Yeah, you just clubbed him 13 times over the leg. You see, when his leg twitched there, that was a sign of resistance. No, that was a sign of physical reaction to pain, because you just went in there and swatted him several more times with the baton. Okay, and then after you swat him again, you see his shoulders winch. That was a sign of resistance. As you got a cackle of officers surrounding him, watching like they're at some circus show with their arms folded and everything, and one go in and beat you, and then when your body does a natural reaction, they say that was a sign of resisting. At no point did this young man resist arrest. The man was cooperating. He knew what it was, and then they act like young black men are wrong. Okay, it's not advised to run from the police, but your body is set up for fight or flight. That's what your body is set up for. And at that point in that situation, it was obvious that they were going to beat that dude at his car. It was obvious he was scared that they were going to kill him. So his body kicked in and he ran home. They had his information. They had his car. They could have went to his house. They could have done any number of things. But no, they decided to chase after him, catch him, and beat him down. if people would have been more outraged if he had beaten the dog down that way. And I'm just like really, really sick of this type of thing. But see, people need to be real, real careful, because just like they said when the Nazis were invading, if it's okay for them, then when will it be okay for it to happen to me? Because you turn your eye when it happens to other people, and you can make excuses when it happens to other people. You can make excuses when it's, oh, well, those white cops, they're obvious racists. Oh, well, that black man, he's obviously guilty. But it's not about race. It's about the way our society has come to a point where our police are policing everyday citizens, taking our rights and lying and beating, and it's being accepted. How many police officers have shot people in the back, gotten off, no time, all this type of thing, and there is no big uproar from we the people to make this type of policing of the United States stop. In England, for example, the police officers don't even have guns. A lot of people don't know that. But we accept this police brutality as, oh, well, nothing's going to change. And then when people are out in the streets protesting peacefully about the police, what do? They start agitating the protester to say that it's not a protest. People were rioting. People were rioting. That's the first thing they want to say, but they don't want to take accountability while the people are in the street protesting. They want to put mandatory curfews up and say, oh, you're breaking curfew, where you don't have the right to assemble, because you don't have a permit, because there are curfew, cutting off your rights as a United States citizen, because they've cut off the life of somebody by also cutting off their rights. I mean, they always say we have rights, but they always trample over our rights. The only right they seem to care about is gun rights. And it's not gun rights for you and I, black people. It's gun rights for the white people. That's my opinion. People may disagree, but they don't want to hear about your gun rights. Those are the only rights they care about. They don't care about women's rights. They don't care about the right to health care. They don't care about anything. So I would just want to share my screen, and I want to help you understand a little bit more about the Memphis Police Department. And I'm going to share this with you guys, something that I found. There's been a channel that has been investigating the Memphis Police Department and their excessive force. So let's share this. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm making sure you can see my stream. Okay, you can see it.
For a refreshing citrusy.
Hold on, I gotta wait for the commercial to go over.
Those are words used to describe complaints against Memphis police officers.
Yeah, complaints we've been hearing. WREG investigators have been digging into previous allegations of excessive force by officers over the past several years to help find solutions. WREG investigator Jessica Gertler now takes a look at those incidents again and joins us live with more. And Jess, what did you discover?
Well, the latest data that we found shows that there were 834,000 calls for service in 2021. 1,200 of those were involved officers using some kind of force. Now, those incidents are typically handled internally, and for the past several years, we've been working to expose them, to find out how each complaint was handled. We want to warn you, the footage you're about to see may be hard to watch.
Through the Tennessee Public Records Act, we uncovered this cell phone video from March 2016, capturing a man with his hands behind his back and handcuffs. A Memphis police officer fired a stun gun. One prong entered his back, another in his leg. After the officer claimed the man snatched away when trying to put him into the squad car. Internal Affairs ruled 4 months later the officer was in the wrong, and he was suspended 10 days. Later that year, body cameras were recording when another officer took a juvenile into custody following a traffic stop.
Come on, don't do that, don't do that.
The juvenile said the officer placed his right arm around her neck and she was not able to breathe. The officer says he didn't choke her, and Internal Affairs later agreed, saying he didn't do anything wrong. We also uncovered this body camera footage of a 91-year-old's encounter with officers in his neighborhood.
Sir, I don't like you walking around with this stick right here by me. You can... Okay.
Officers say the elderly man aggressively waved his walking stick, so they pressed him against their squad car and handcuffed him. Their actions came under review months later and resulted in a 1-day suspension and sensitivity training for one officer. The other was suspended for 2 days and reassigned to a unit dedicated to community policing. Then, in 2019, an officer boasted on his body camera what he did to a man that he took into custody for reportedly vandalizing a store. He said the man, who they encountered in the past, kicked the back door of his squad car, so they sprayed pepper foam into the car.
You let the window down. For you? Hell no.
And Internal Affairs documents say the officer didn't crack the window for 5 minutes and 55 seconds. The officer resigned before his administrative hearing, but was later charged with official oppression.
I saw police brutality at its finest.
On January 7th, actions of MPD officers were called into question yet again. A traffic stop ended with the death of Tyre Nichols. Video hasn't been released to the public, but his family has now seen it.
I saw a helpless young black man being beat by several officers.
And unlike the other cases we've covered, the actions of the officers that night sparked an immediate internal investigation, which concluded within days and resulted in the termination of 5 officers.
And that reaction should give you an idea of just how serious MPD brass thinks this is. Now, to read more about the incidents we've uncovered and the solutions.
Okay, so that's a little bit of, what I had uncovered when I was looking into the past actions of the Memphis Police Department. So, and you notice that last one, when the guy had him in the back of the car and had pepper sprayed him and wouldn't open the windows, they said he had past contact with this guy. So they are allowed to go out here and brutalize people because they have dealt with the person in the past. And this alleged driving erratically or dangerous driving happened the day before, but this man was pulled over the next day and beaten to a pulp, never told why he had been pulled over, anything to that effect. So, yeah, I just want to see what you guys have to say. We blocked in. They got both bridges blocked. Sensitivity training, give me a effing break. A 91-year-old man. And they treat people, and no charges. All these things that they do. And even if they do fire somebody, do you know how many police officers get their job back? Even if they fire somebody, do you know how many times they do not take their police credentials so they can go over to the city next door and get a job being a police officer once again? Do you know how many times this goes on in the United States? And, that should be how many times they don't get charged. They'll lose their jobs and they get hired right back because the police union will fight for these types of officers to get right back. Okay, let me see what LaVon is talking about. See, it starts with the top down. Police are taught this behavior. Yes, they are taught this behavior, and the people who are at the top are rewarded because they can exist in this behavior and thrive in this behavior as long as they go along with this behavior. But let an officer blow the whistle on this behavior, and that's the officer who's going to be who's going to have a hard way to go and be harassed to death by his fellow officers. I'm so vexed. Yeah, I'm vexed as well. Okay, let's see what else you guys are saying. At least one person in the sector is discussing this. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we have real life non-theatrics going on, and I just really wanted to talk about it. All I know is I get pulled over, I'm not stopping until I'm in a safe place with my but yeah, and a lot of times you trying to drive to a safe, well-lit place will get your ass beat. Hello, Lady E. I saw I watch cop watch videos all the time, and I saw a guy who did just that. And they act as if like they were really going to do something to this guy, and they discovered that he was videotaping, and that's the reason why they took him out of the car. They put him in the police car, took him back out of the police car after they realized that his cell phone had been videotaping everything that they were saying, which was, he was saying the right things, and what they were saying was ludicrous. So, he didn't get arrested. So it's just really sad. And it doesn't matter if you're a man. It doesn't matter if you're a woman. It doesn't matter if you're a pregnant woman. It doesn't matter. You saw that juvenile, that girl who that cop put his arm around his neck. Her neck was a juvenile. It doesn't matter. They treat the American people like this. And the thing about it is the American people is the one, when the lawsuits are handed out, it's paid with taxpayer dollars. It doesn't come from their retirement, their pension plans, or anything like that. It comes from your taxpaying dollars, your same taxpaying dollars that pay for them to treat you this way. So, if anybody want to come up and if any of you guys want to come up and share your thoughts on what you saw, I think it was just a real travesty. So I'm going to invite people up to share anything you want to have about this. There's the link. Okay, let me see any comments that I missed. They need to defund the MPD from the top down. It starts with the mentality they're taught in the academy. Everybody thinks that, always try to say that, oh, people want to defund the police. Oh, that's a horrible thing. That's a horrible thing. But nobody says a word when you're taking taxpayer dollars and paying off all these suits that these bad cops have. That's less money that's going to the police force. You're funding the police by paying off all these suits, but that's okay. But to actually say you ought to defund the police and put in some social services that address the problems, the crime problems, the joblessness problems that are going on in your city that makes it a high crime area, nobody want to talk about that. And that's another thing. Okay, so this Scorpion unit that these 5 officers were a part of, their duty was to go into high crime areas. So you have 8 officers assigned to a high crime area. Well, have you done any research to see why this area was a high crime area? And just because it's a high crime area, does that make every person that lives in that area a criminal? Does that what that means? So you treat every person that you stop in that area as if they're a criminal? People let these little terms just wash over them. It means nothing to them. Are we addressing that the fact that across the United States rent has gone up by 40%, by the average of 40%? So are we addressing the fact that maybe some people have to live in that area because they don't make enough money. So these are the areas that they have to live in, but it doesn't make them a criminal. They may go to work every day, but when you talk to your senators about raising the minimum wage to a livable minimum wage, oh no, we can't afford that. No, we can't afford that. Memphis got a lot of money for the COVID relief fund, and what Memphis did, they hired a whole lot more officers. That's what they used the COVID relief fund money to do. They didn't use the COVID relief fund to help any situation that would improve the crime rate, job training programs, anything like that. No, it was all about policing. And what they also did was the mayor and the city council, they opened up the borders of how far out that the police officers could actually live from Memphis that could work in Memphis. So what that is outside policing. People who do not live in that area, have no connection to that area, can come in and act like they're in some old cowboy flick and do whatever they want to the people that they have no connection to. So these are like some of the things that I'm interested in talking about. Okay, I have a guest. Let me put up my banner right quick. Demiso?
Hey, Ronnie Q.
That banner does no good. How you doing, Demiso? I know you live in Tennessee as well. What do you have to say about this?
I'm in Nashville. I'm not too far. I don't know, just praying for Aisha and Kay, my moderator, because just for their safety, for kids and family. And, I don't know, I got this mixed reviews. I was talking about this with my husband, and I was like, I was explaining to him why Memphis was divided. I was like, you got some people saying that they mad because within a week's time, or how many a quick time, 6 black men were charged, grand jury, and arrested already, whereas the white, counterparts aren't. And then you got the other side saying, man, y'all didn't even let that family put that boy in the ground. That's disrespectful. We knew to keep speaking about it. Because me and Nina talked about this too. We went back and forth. I said, yeah. She said, you need to keep speaking about it. You need to keep mentioning it. I said, yeah, but there's a such thing as respect, and there's a such thing as that black woman took power and said, this stops with me. She can't help it what Missouri is doing and what California is doing. She's setting an example. So the next time any color does something like this as a police officer, it's immediate and it's swift. And Memphis that was a groundbreaking, quick, fast move that she did to protect her city. So I shout out to that black woman. I pray for her too, because that's a hard position to be, a black woman.
Yeah, and she's been on the job in Memphis for around a year and a half. So I don't know if she was on the job when these other cases have come about, but I do know that that Demetrius Haley, who was arrested, he was also had a big dealing in a part of beating a prisoner into unconsciousness at one of the jails in Tennessee. However, that was in 2016. That was before her tenure, and the judge was the one who who dismissed that case because one of the officers wasn't served properly. So it's just a
and big, all that conduct on there, like being warranted for abusive force. The other one over and over again, like all these write-ups. And yeah, like you said, she's only had a year and a half, and it takes a long time to change over old regime. I know. Like one of the man that was there, maybe like one before her. It was one and then one before her. Whoever was around doing that big famous. I don't know if you heard that Lester case they got out of Memphis, where that uncle killed his nephews, nieces, brother. Okay,
yes, on Lester Street. They did that first 48. They did a first 48 on that. That's why I know about Lester Street murder.
Oh yeah, I found out about them through that. But since then, I watched other documentaries too, and I just watched the update of those kids. Man, that one little boy who survived with a knife in his head, he looks just like Uncle Junior. But we can talk about that later. But anyway, so that one that was there, I know he was very problematic, and it was a lot of corruption, which it still is. I mean, they still healing over dogs. They don't feel like they doing that case justice. And you know, and multiple people have been, you know, sacrificed since then through revenge and, you know, suspicion and whatever as a result of that case. So I know Memphis is already on edge. That's why I think that, you know, that it's concerning to me, because it's like they at this tip, and this new generation don't give three fucks. It's like they want movement, but they reckless with it. So they like civil rights plus purge mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Now,
like they don't have the right background. There's no more grandmas running queue. That's part of the problem.
Now, Taser said protesters on the ground wants to dismantle the Scorpion unit. It has been suspended for now. I did not know it was suspended, but I knew that if they were calling for a federal investigation of the Scorpion unit, and if that investigation goes forward, it would be suspended during the investigation. That was what I heard about this Scorpion unit. And I think this Scorpion unit, in my opinion, just was like really just set loose on the community, because they describe it as patrolling a high crime area, and I'm sure that it is a high black resident area. And I think that they have turned their head to many things that this Scorpion unit has done, because you looked at how they operated with this young man, and it tells you that they are used to doing this. It tells you that is their modus operandi of how this Scorpion unit conducts itself in this area that they are patrolling. Okay, so
it's like a gang and a fraternal. It is a fraternal order, so it's like a fraternal secret order gang, and then the firefighters and paramedics want to get them a piece of the pie. So now we have, it's just troubling. I mean, and I don't know why people are so surprised that it's black. I mean, think about it. I mean, even if you want to go to the movie theater, think about that notorious black cop in freaking Race of Society and the Boys in the Hood. Like in LA, especially, they've always had the worst problems from their black counterparts. That's not no surprise. Like we historically have had that. It's like they get frustration, they get hazed by the white cops, they get treated less than, and then they take it out on what they consider their problems.
Hold on, Miss. I don't want to interrupt you, but the MPD is on Crump, just sitting there with the lights flashing. It's on the news now. Miss Boyd, can you tell me what news channel you're watching? You mean they have him pulled over and they're just sitting there with their lights on them? Can you kind of explain what you mean by that statement?
Why do they have Ben Crump on pulled over? What do they mean? What he do?
I don't know. That's why I need some clarification. Their lack of experience. Yes, they all had between 3 to 6 years on the force. Yes, they had 3 to 6. I haven't seen them. Yeah, they all had 3 to 6 years on the force. So I think that their experience is. I think that it wasn't lack of experience. I think they were trained to do this. This is what they were trained to do. If they were trained to do the right thing, I think they would have done the right thing. So that's my issue with it. It's like it's the culture of policing, and this is what they're taught to do. So I saw a comment that said that police are supposed to de-escalate instead of escalate. Yeah, in theory, yeah, in writing, but you look at how volatile our police force is with people. Why is it okay to say that it's okay for a police officer to always pull a black person out of the car when they say you didn't put on a turn signal? Well, if I didn't put on a turn signal, write me a ticket and let me be on my way. Why do I have to get out of my car? Why do I have to wait for a dog? I don't care what you say that looks suspicious. If I just had a turn signal and you want to converse with me any further and talk about, I look nervous, I look this and I look that, I can look all of those things. But what crime have I committed? What crime do you think I'm in the middle of committing? Can you articulate a crime other than my turn signal that I've committed? If you cannot, please write me my ticket and let me go on my way. But it is not. That's how it's supposed to go. But they don't care about our rights at all. So that's why it's commonplace for black people to always get drug out of their cars, reaching in their cars, opening their cars and stuff, because they're pulling you over because of some traffic violation. How many black people have wound up dead over traffic violations? Hold on, let me somebody's
Zara
at
back
the
there.
door.
Zara
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get her.
Hey, yeah, they
Pizarro,
rerouted.
is that you?
Baby,
Yeah.
they put on the interstate.
Okay.
You
Hold
suck,
on.
Ronnie.
Hey Pizarro, what's going on? Hold on, I have one more person. Pizarro, you're up here, but did you drop off, Pizarro?
No, she up
No,
there.
I'm here, Ronnie.
Okay, just a minute. Let me see if this is just Andrea.
Yes,
Just Andrea? Okay.
it's me.
All right. Okay, what do you want to add, Pizarro?
Oh, mine's a little different from y'all.
Go ahead.
Well, see, in my opinion, from what I saw the video of the beatings. Um,
Pizarro, are you there?
yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, I feel like from viewing the video footage, I feel like there was a ritual that was done taking place to me. It seems like there's a lot of things that be going on within the police department that a lot of people sees what's going on, but really not trying to touch on the deeper issues with it too. I do feel like it's an agenda. I,
Okay, somebody got their mic on, and I don't want us to talk over each other. So can everybody
Hold on.
mute for a second?
that was them as though she was talking, but she forgot to mute. I feel like there's an agenda that is going on between the police officers and the civilians, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. Well, why would they be doing a ritual? What do you think is the uh, reason for these rituals with the police officers and civilians?
Well, the ritual is the agenda, which is everyone plays a part in it and don't know they playing a part in the agenda that's being pushed. Because we have seen just like the mass shootings is getting worse and worse. And then as you can see, a lot of black folks, and mainly a lot of black men, have been getting killed in the hands of police officers. And we normally have it where it's the white officers, but now you're getting it as your own people, which we should have known that a lot of the black men that works for the police department or on the FBI unit, any of that type of stuff, they're not there for the betterment of us. They're there for the betterment of them. They're there to work for them. They're there to get on, which is why they're called the Scorpio unit. And if you in the hood, you would know and see who they is. Know who they is because a lot of them do come around only for that. But a lot of them set up a lot of plays in the hood too. That's how they end up setting up a lot of men in the hood
Mm.
that get caught like that. But
Oh yeah.
but the neighborhood that he was in, it was not like the hood. It was more like a decent neighborhood. And it
Yeah.
seemed
Hold on one second. Yeah, because I noticed that as well. When he was in that right 3 houses away from his home, it was a cul-de-sac, and those houses were nice brick houses. So they put out this narrative like this was some high crime, oh fucking gunshot houses and type of stuff. But those, if you look at those houses, those were really nice, really nice houses. Go ahead, Pizarro.
right. So and that goes to show you they don't only just do it in the hoods. They do it in neighborhoods like that too because a lot of times a lot of black men they would see driving in those neighborhoods, they feel like they're driving to go meet with someone in there. They're thinking that there's going to be a drug bust that's going on. And as you can see from the video footage, it seems as though they stopped him because they thought that they was going to be able to find drugs on him, and that wasn't the case. So they didn't want to look like idiots. And as y'all know, police officers have a lot of pride, a lot of ego. And you could tell by them sitting up there discussing after the man is sitting there clinging on to life of how he ran from them and how they complained how he ran from them. But yet it took 60, it looked like it was 6 of them. It took 60 y'all to equally bend over and beat them one by one. Then everybody, can you tell me? And this is why I said it was a ritual. Because why would they all in a circle have him in the middle and they're around him and they beat him taking turns? Then tell me, why did they sit him up, then pick him up, and this kept him in the circle, and each one of them beat him, took turns beating him?
Yeah, that was really sick and disgusting. And yeah, they don't want to address these cop gangs. They don't want to address, like in the LAPD, for example, in the sheriff department, they have identified 6 gangs. They have actual gang tattoos. They of which gang that they are in, and they want to totally ignore these facts. These are facts. Hold on one second. Someone's in the back. 1 second, you guys. HBCU mom?
Yeah, this is Miss Diva One.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put yourself on mute and let Pizarro finish, and then I'm gonna go to Jess Andreas, then you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Go ahead, finish up, Pizarro. What were you saying?
Well, that's what I'm saying. For me, you asked me what is the agenda and what made me think that it's a ritual and how it all connected. That's how I feel. It's deeper than what we see. It's not just about black folks being beaten by them, but it's also to start up um a riot beyond what it is. It's to see if they can get allegedly all of us black folks, if we can, to go against the police officers so that they can push forward into a new law, in my opinion. I'm gonna mute.
Okay. And also that, a lot of people think that Pizarro is crazy. Okay, but Pizarro does have some crazy theories sometimes that I don't agree with. But I do think that she is like really on point about this new agenda that is being pushed forth on us to, just relinquish our rights as citizens and see these wrongs as being okay, and them doing things like inciting protesters to then, like even in that last protest where they had the guy who was all covered up who went and bashed out the windows in that Walgreens and stuff, and then they tried to blame it on the protesters when it was obvious. They caught him on camera, some white guy who was an outside agitator. His only mission was to go in and smash out the windows in that Walgreens to create this mass confusion and stuff. And then they'll go in, they'll burn up the cities and this, that, and the other. So why? Because this is land that they later turn around and gentrify and say, well, nobody wants it, anything. And then the thing about it is that they will sell this land to rich corporations, rich people, for way less than they would sell it to somebody in the community to do anything with. So I agree with Pizarro on a lot of points. They would rather protect property. Property is more important to be protected than human life. So who was next? Jess Andreas, go.
Yeah, I was listening to his mother saying that he was just he wasn't that far from home, and it seemed like the beating was personal, like they knew him really well. And so I'm just saying, and now all 5 of them are out on bail. They've been fired, but now they're out on bail. And I was just talking to my girlfriend, and she was saying I hope people don't go down there and just act a fool and start burning things down, because they did get fired. They did get charged. And so I hope if we're gonna go down there and protest peacefully, because they want us to they don't call the National Guard out, so they want, because to me, I believe cops shoot first and ask questions later. That's what my own motto. I tell my son that all the time, because my own son has been pulled over, and I pulled out my driveway to go to the gas station, and I see he been pulled over, but I'm looking at my son and seeing why he's sitting out the car and still not having the ticket yet. And the cop said, well, he was suspicious. I was like, really? Suspicious? Oh, don't y'all know y'all kill black folks? So maybe he's a little scared.
Yeah, they are supposed to have a reasonable, articulable crime that they think you have committed, are in the midst of committing, or that's suspicious, and you look suspicious, and why you sweating and why you nervous. I'm nervous because you motherfuckers kill people for no reason and then try to act like they did something to you. That's why I'm nervous, motherfucker. You know, that okay, the best thing, in my opinion, to do is to cooperate, but you have to understand all these questions are just reasons to catch you up. Where you been, where you going, all this, who's this, what you got there, that's none of your business. I choose not to answer questions is a good way to start. Identifying yourself, giving them your information, complying, but you don't have to answer all these in between questions. Oh, you seem suspicious. Oh, what? Where you going? Oh, you going all the way over there? Oh, and they make me sick. Hey, cuz, where you going? Like, I'm not your cuz, bitch. Shut the fuck up. You know, all this old ignorant ass shit. You know,
when I pulled up, I told her, I said, oh, don't underestimate. We have taught my son to know his rights. So don't underestimate. I'm still trying to figure out, ask his mother, why he sit down on your car instead of sitting in his car with a ticket. And he was like, well, my officer is training. I said, well, he ain't training enough again.
Hold on. Now, Reverend Lowe, this is the first time me ever hearing that there was a rumor that one of the officer's wife was having an affair with Tyre.
Oh, yeah.
I know you
lying. I didn't heard that.
Aisha told us
I never
about
heard that neither.
The local rumor is that.
Well, that's what I was gonna get up here and explain to y'all the stuff that's going on.
The local rumor is that it's a fight. It was a fight. It was a man-on-man fight. Think about it like this. And I told we had to tell we wanted Aisha to stop because she's right 10 minutes away and she don't need this kind. You know, people get real life consequences for stuff like this.
Hold on. A real life fight. What are you saying?
Okay, that they started. The word on the curb is that it started as a man-to-man fight. The one police officer, what she's insinuating, it was a man-to-man fight, as in they got something personal about a woman. Seems like the good old blue decided to help him.
But that's bullshit. That's bullshit. We saw the video recording. That wasn't a man-on-man fight.
Right.
That's why I don't think they really beat the shit out of him.
Hold on. Wait a minute. You because you're not clear, Miss O, and I need you to tell this clearly. Where was this? Wait a minute. Where was this alleged one-on-one fight? Do you mean at this traffic stop, or in another place at another time, or you mean at this traffic stop?
No, in another place, another time. Hence that there's more coverage. They're not damn releasing.
Okay, now go ahead and finish. Okay, that's why I was trying to clear.
And it's personal because they saying that the guy who he was in a fight, which to me you can't have a man on a fight with a police officer. That's not fair. But anyway, it started out as a one-on-one, and so the other guy that whose wife is in question between him. So then it seems like the boys in blue, the biggest gang in the world, decided to come help their kinfolk, and then that's where we are here.
Okay, hold on. Black Diva 21. I am gonna let her speak, and I'm gonna let her speak when I give her when I choose to let her speak. Okay, so don't tell me what to do, okay, or you'll be timed out and you won't be able to write. Okay, I run my shit. Okay.
Word on the curb, Robin. That's why I said word on the curb.
So these are rumors so far. Miss HBCU Queen, go ahead. HBCU mom.
No, that's what I know. You had asked a couple of. This is Miss Diva 1. That's my
Diva 1.
Yeah, that's my Monica because my baby's in the HBCU school. Anywho,
I know you was asking the question. Me and the other lady was talking about the bridges and all the rest of that stuff. I don't know why, but it seems like every time they want to protest over here. Well, I know why. They end up jumping on these bridges, trying to come across the bridge, and they know this is like a main aorta. This is like the main thoroughfare for like the United States. If you block 40 and 55, y'all gonna catch, everybody gonna catch hell, and they tend to get right on these damn bridges and go to protesting over there on Memphis side. Memphis PD just sitting back looking at them. They ain't finna touch them. Over here on our side, troopers, sheriffs, mayor in West Memphis, they sitting back watching and waiting and trying to keep them from coming over here. So that's what we was talking about them being on the bridge. They always jump on the bridge. They don't never protest downtown. They know how to bring disruption, and this traffic is like backing up. And like I said, you got truckers and everything. It's just, we just at a standstill, sitting over here looking crazy.
So
I gotta admit.
Everybody's not familiar with these different sides. You said east sides and west sides. Okay, what's on the side that they won't let people protest on, and what's on the side that they're containing them in?
Okay, the protest is in Memphis because this is where it happened at.
Right.
Well, you know, Memphis, Tennessee. The next state over is Arkansas.
Right.
There's a main thoroughfare that's between Memphis and Arkansas, but it's a main thoroughfare for basically, I hate to say it, for the world, which is 40 and 55. Yeah. If those two interstates was to ever get blocked, we'd be up shit creek, because it's like an hour both ways to just get over to the next state to just get back to Memphis. You have to go all the way out. So when these people go to protest and they jump, they know how to stop everything. They'll jump right on that bridge and everything gets stopped and held up.
Right. So they're blocked. They're not allowing them into what area is my question.
They're not trying. They're trying. They normally try to come from from Tennessee over to Arkansas. That's what they normally try to do. But the police stopped them and only let them go so far. So basically they're on the bridge over a river, the Mississippi River, just on the bridge protesting or just standing there, just doing whatever.
Okay, and everybody, if I highlight your comment, I don't want to interrupt people to talk, but that's my way of saying hello as well. But Purple Peach has a good comment that I wanted to know as well. What angered her is that the bonds were low enough for them all to be bonded out right now. And don't you find it peculiar that these people committed this act and Rob Rack has a higher bond than they had?
You know, Miss Ronnie Q, I promise you I love you. I call you my lipstick alley queen, because you be on it. But I'm gonna tell you what I find to be peculiar is I pay close attention to details, especially with stuff like this. I love criminal stuff. I was watching, I actually had 3 devices going. I had my TV and both of my phones going, and I was actually watching it I was watching Roland Martin, I was watching CNN, and then I had 4. I was watching Roland Martin, CNN, this dude I watch on YouTube, Pascal, and then I was watching on Facebook. A lot of people were paying attention to the officers fighting the man, but if you go back, somebody, because they were right up under a sky cam, and I'm gonna say they didn't even know they was under that sky cam. Somebody that was monitoring that sky cam moved that sky camera on them to get everything, because that camera was not angled towards them. Because like I said, I was watching it on 4 different devices, and the camera only moved on one of the devices. Because I was going through my Facebook and running through Facebook. Somebody was like, and this is not all the video. And we was like, yeah, some channel you can tell certain channels that you watch it on they're not playing all of it. I know CNN was playing all of it, and TMZ, they were playing, because I jumped over there TMZ. But somebody was monitoring them sky cams, because you notice none of the black officers had their cameras on. The white dude that pepper sprayed him and tased him, which they said is supposed to be some more arrests that's coming. But my thing is, why do everybody, there was more than 5. How many we counted? About 10, 12 of them. I'm like, okay, why the white man? He tased and pepper sprayed, but he pepper sprayed that man in his eyes while he was down. He should have his ass should have got arrested. But
exactly.
my thing is, somebody behind that sky cam saw this shit and recorded them because they were like they didn't know about it. Because we still don't know where the footage come in at, or I hadn't heard anything from it. But I noticed that sky cam moving. One and police officers control them sky cams. So I'm wondering who inside reported them, told on them, because that's what the camera, the body cam, you see it'll go black, but you will hear.
It was the family's attorney. It was the family's attorney that made them.
But at first they were saying they didn't have any film. When this first started.
At first, but the family attorney is the one who released the footage of the light cam, because they was not going to release the footage. They were going to hold the footage.
Before we even got to that, before the attorney even asked for it to be released, in the beginning they said it wasn't no footage. And like I said, that camera, that's a sky cam. So it had to be a police officer up there operating that sky cam, because that sky cam moved. And and then you heard somebody, like I said, I watched it was 4 of them. Everybody's not showing the same thing, but the one, and I really want to say it was CNN that I saw that camera moving on. If you go back and find CNN, I found on CNN online. I went Google search
CNN Live. CNN Live.
At the beginning, and then CNN started playing it before everybody else played theirs also. Because while everybody was waiting, I was over here on CNN watching it, because I was like, why ain't everybody talking about they waiting? CNN is playing it.
I got it. All of it though. I got it late as well, and I was mad because the news outlet that I did, they broke it up in 3 parts, and they acted as if they were seeing it for the first time with the audience. But then one of the newscasters told on themselves, because they said, and see, coming up here is when you're going to see X, Y, and Z happen. I was like, these motherfuckers lying. They reviewing the tape and just determining what they gonna let you look at, and then putting forth a narrative to put in your mind that what you are actually looking at, so you just can't rawly look at what you seeing. They always do that shit in the media.
But Fox is already on it. Fox News is already, girl, when I say Fox News already on it, I already went to cussing and throwing chairs right here, talking about he was on drugs. That's the reason why I said, oh shit, here we go. Candace always better not say shit. Candace, shut your ass up. Fox News is already saying the boy was on drugs.
But if he was on drugs, he must have been on marijuana. That's something that relaxes him, because he was not combative. They can say whatever they want to. He was not combative. And
they removed him from the first place. How come they got a kidnapping charge?
Because
it might not have been. Well, I'm gonna go back through here and I'm gonna find which one I saw it on, because like I said, on 4, I was watching on 4. Every last one of them showed a different. They, like you said, some of them had it broken up, some of them, but the one I saw, and like I said, I don't be even thinking to even say this stuff. That camera moved, and you heard a white lady talking. Because I was like, wait a minute, this didn't come, because I thought it came from somebody's house. I'm like, no, this ain't come from somebody's house, because the camera's way up on the pole. No, I'm like, okay, who back here watching this shit?
Hold on, Diva One. What I want you to do is, if you can go back, find wherever you saw that. If you can get a timestamp, I want you to come back and drop the link back here, and I'll drop that link in the chat.
Okay, I'll go back. Okay. Give me a few minutes. Like I said, I was watching different angles, but I do know everybody wasn't showing the same thing. So, matter of fact, I'm finna go look now, and then I'm finna go back and find that Facebook post, because I really think one of my Facebook friends is married to one of them police officers.
Wait a minute. Now, you never discussed that. Now, what are you talking about, this Facebook post?
Well, I did earlier today. Because I jump on and off Facebook. I can't deal with Facebook too long. But I jumped on Facebook and I saw a post, and I'm like, folks arguing on the post, and I get up on the comments, read, and I read, somebody put down there, let's talk about why. What did he say? Something about why he jumped on him for messing with his wife or something. And the woman was like, I don't want to talk about it right now. We're just going to pray. I'm like, from what I was reading and from what I grasped of it, and then I heard it somewhere also. This here, it was something happened prior to this. They stopped him before. I don't know. Going back to what Ms. T.O. was saying about they got to fighting, but this is the result of something that a prior stop that happened. That's why it's so much passion when you see it's like
kidnapping came in. I bet you that's where the kidnapping came in.
No.
If you move from one location to the other,
no. They didn't move him. The kidnapping came. No, Medina. So let me tell you, the kidnapping charge came in because they didn't have a valid stop to stop him for in the first place. So them holding him against his will was the kidnapping charges because they had no charge, they had no crime, and they were holding him against his will unconstitutionally. That's why it's a kidnapping charges because they would not let him go and he could not get to his house to safety because they had kidnapped him.
He was from what they said, he was like 30 feet from his house. That's why he was hollering for his mother because he was right there by his house. But it don't make sense. To some, it don't make sense. It's like, why so passionate? They said this is something that happened prior. And they called up and they saw him out. That's why they went after him again this time because they didn't get him the first time they was trying to get him. Or it was a fight or whatever. But like I said, I don't want to give out wrong information. I'm trying to piece together what I saw in my head.
Nobody heard him screaming
because he was close to his house. He was hoping that he was hollering for his mama because he was right there at his house.
Nobody heard nothing.
His mama said she heard him.
Watch the footage.
His mama said she heard him.
So what she?
I don't know now. That's what his mama said.
Well,
like you said, now I kind of go with Miss Lazaro on that. They got to design this channel, show this piece. That channel show this piece. Is like you got to watch 4, 5, 6 channels to piece together the whole story because everybody's only, they spin it to the angle they wanted to spin it. But I did hear
we got all the videos that they just because Fox, Kay said Fox has the uncut, but that's what they released. Do you really?
Well, if it's the uncut, it is the uncut. You're gonna see that camera.
Wait a minute. I cannot have you guys both talking at the same time. One at a time, please.
I was saying, do y'all really think the police actually released the whole thing to the public, though? I mean, even Fox got in the uncut. I'm sure we didn't get the whole thing even released to the public.
Okay, Miss Diva.
You can't. I mean, I'm telling you what I saw, and like I said, I saw it on 4 channels. If nobody noticed, if you didn't notice the camera moving, you might not have the full version because one of the versions that I saw, they moved that camera. They moved that camera and back over that angle so they could be seen. And that camera was up there on the pole.
Hold on, Miss Diva. They're saying his mother did not say that. That she heard him outside. I think that's what they're referring to because that's the only thing I heard you say. His mother said she heard him, and they're saying that the mother did not say that.
She heard him. I could have swore that woman said that this morning when I watched it, or maybe I interpreted the wrong way. When I was up this morning at 4:30 watching this, she's like, I heard my baby. Because the first thing that came to mind was, we hear our kids hollering for us. We're going to look around and get up and walk outside.
Okay, well, Miss Diva, if you can find that timestamp where the camera is moving, and that means that whoever was in control of the camera was positioning to get all the information, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you can capture that link and get the timestamp, and we'll just let people review it and see if they see the same thing you saw. That would be helpful.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to get up now. Like I said, I don't know if it's a time stamp or if it might have been the one I saw online. If it's one I saw online, I just copied the web link and y'all can go to it because I know the ones I went to. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for coming up. Okay. Anybody else want to have anything to say? Now, Demon Soul, you had started in about this rumors of this affair. What else do you know about this? You said it was a fight that happened in another place. So continue.
That Aisha just said that much to us, and then we told her to stop because she's just too close to it, and you just know we want her to be okay. So that's all basically she said, and then I'm putting the word allegedly and rumor for that reason.
Right.
We was talking about on Lady Nika's live yesterday. My husband had to reroute home because of this. He was supposed to go through Memphis to go to Texas, but they shut the interstate down. And they got that in fear because what they did to Reginald then when they start looting, they get them trucks low because he carrying a big load right now. So they ever since what happened when you're around your way with Reginald, then I wanted you to speak to that too. That made me nervous for him because I remember they pulled him out of there and they was taking a lot of truck drivers loads during the riots that time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I remember those riots for Rodney King. I didn't live in the actual city of Los Angeles, but I worked near the city of Los Angeles during that time. And what I do remember, I knew some people who I worked with was taking the day off so they can go loot. I really do. I mean, and it was just like after those riots, I mean, you could get like anything you want. It was just like so much shit. People were selling shit, whispering in your ear, "Hey, you need some TVs? We got that liquor. I got so many sweat socks. I got enough sweat socks and white t-shirts and all these types of things. I got some top shelf liquor for $20 and $30 a bottle. All just what that. Yeah. So I remember that. That was like it was just like wild watching it. You sitting at home on TV. I mean, and watching TV, and you see people with all this stuff on top of their cars, TVs, and all this type of stuff. But see, that's not going on nowadays. See, because they're protecting property. They don't care about your life because they're going to protect that property. And that's why I was asking her what's part of the city they're closing off, because they're not going to let you damage these rich white people's property, their money, and all this type of stuff. See, that's what, and Pizarro was talking about these conspiracies, and that's what people are missing, in my opinion, a lot of times, because it's not no longer the black and white thing and all this. This is a class structure warfare against the rich against the poor, and you can be the Hunger Games as far as they're concerned. Just don't bring your ass over here touching the rich man's shit. You can do what you want to do, and we'll send people in to treat you however you act like you don't have any rights. And if you do have rights, we got enough people in place to make sure that you are not going to come up out of this hole that you in. You're going to stay. You ain't going to get no money. You ain't going to be no new rich nigga off of us beating and killing your sons and daughters and all this type of stuff, because this money ain't for you. Stay in your place, and we're going to do you how we want to do you. So that's the structure that we need to be more focused on, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Let's say anybody else? Anybody else? Go ahead.
Go ahead. They said that two paramedics was under investigation too, so they might be fired too. So they basically saying when they got to the scene, they basically didn't give him no aid. So they got two paramedics under investigation.
Yes, and they have been suspended, and the fire department is also under investigation that they worked for. So, and they said there are more officers who are under investigation and who may be either charged or have some administrative type of things. But so, yeah.
Well,
hey, I'm that messy.
Thank you, Ronnie Q. I appreciate it. Let me come up on your panel.
Thank you for coming up. Okay, does anybody else have anything that they want to add to this conversation?
I'm gonna drop down right here.
You give us a good tea and now you gone.
Well, I ain't got no more. That's all Aisha told us. Seriously, she just said that, and we just told her to be quiet because what happened to King Roman with that Houston stuff.
No, I don't. What happened?
Well, he got threatened by member mob ties, and because Houston is Jay Prince business, and a lot of people was standing out for that. That's why a lot of rappers didn't talk about that because Jay Prince power. So yeah, and he got a threat on his Twitter from a mob ties member. And I said, you better get the hell away.
Yeah.
Well, he was speaking out about, because Jay Prince Jr. has been involved in too much suspicious shit and people come up dead. And so, he raised the questions that some people were asking, and they came on there and gave him a threat. And I was like, yes, walk away. I know what you're trying to do, baby, but it's real life consequences to that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I see what you're saying. I definitely see what you're saying.
But we do have to have brave people that, I'm afraid to challenge, the status quo, but it just comes at a cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. So, Miss Pizarro, are you still here?
Yes, I am.
So, what do you want to add? Anything else you want to add about this story?
Well, I just don't want us to keep having to see this because then it's gonna get real bad, to where people ain't gonna want to pull over for the police. People gonna be able to justify not pulling over for the police, any of that stuff because they fear for their life. It's
Yeah.
really not a good look.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And that's why you got people now, police pull them over and they shoot their ass, because that's this is what they started. People
Okay.
can't trust the police.
HBCU is in the back again. Let me see. Excuse me. Diva, when is this you?
Yes, ma'am. It's me.
Okay, go ahead.
I put it in. It's on. There you go. Tell me if you can see that in the back chat. That web link.
We see it.
Okay. When you go to that web link, that's the Memphis City web link. It's the second video. It's 4 videos up there. It's the second one. I think it's 31 minutes. And start at the beginning. It's just gonna look like it ain't moving, but just let it play and you're gonna see that camera moving. And I didn't have the sound up, but I could, unless I was hearing things, you could hear somebody talking. And you see that camera moving. Because when you first look at the camera's angled like looking for traffic coming down the street. And it's like
Somebody said that's true. They said that Don Lemon said that was somebody moving the cameras because they saw that.
yeah, I see. That's why I said when I saw that, I'm like, okay, ain't nobody saying. Because you see that, and they took their time moving. It's like, I don't know. It's like you be looking at something, you like, okay, what's going on over here? And they moved the camera because the people was there for a minute. So I'm like, okay. But like I said, when they first came out, they were like, well, we ain't got no video. You lied. Who was behind that camera? So there you go. I just want to let you know, Ms. Monica Q, I found this. The second one is 4 videos. So hit the second one, because if you hit the first one, then they'll have you put all your information in to hit the second one. But it is the second one. I think it's like 31 minutes or something. And it's at the beginning. Can you hear me? Hello?
I'm just talking. Yeah, I hear it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I had my mic off. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I didn't want to hold you up or nothing, but I was determined to go find it. I was trying to figure out, I'm like, damn, where did I go last? I went to Memphis Demo. So like I said, they were playing it way before the news and everything. But okay. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully that'll catch you. That's the second one right there in the video. And there you go. That right there leads you where you need to be.
Thank
And
you.
those are like the uncut. I think those are, well, I ain't gonna say those are the original one, because that Vimo page, that's on the Memphis City website page. So
okay. Well,
and
I
it's good video.
appreciate you. I
No problem.
appreciate you finding that for me,
No
because that's
problem.
some new information.
Yeah, because I'm like, what's it, Pizarro? You don't hear nobody. You think they'd be talking about it and bringing it up? Because because that video had me. Lord have mercy. They stood that man up. That man punching that man. Like, oh, I got so mad. Let me leave this alone.
Yeah,
Ooh.
go ahead. You
Now,
know.
have you seen it? Because a lot of people didn't see it. A
Yeah.
lot of people didn't see it. A lot of people But like I said, I got people that work on all the police departments around here. So they kind of prepped me and gave me the heads up. And then, like I said, we already know what's gonna happen when they protest. They go jumping on the damn bridge and can't nobody go nowhere. So they kind of, these police departments, they communicate back and forth and everything. And they hollering about the video wasn't out. The video been out amongst them, so they can get prepared, make sure don't nothing go on in their town and stuff. So he had already
Right.
prepared me for it. But people telling you something versus you seeing it with your own eyes is like two totally things. And like I wasn't ready. Ooh, I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah, they kept telling us what to expect, what we may see, but when you actually see that video, it's like I can't even believe that nobody intervened to help. Nobody. It was just crazy.
Well, they said they supposed to be getting some more people, but I really believe just like I said, I was talking to him. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say that them black men was the scapegoats because they brought this shit on themselves. They should have read the room, the elements, and the time that we was in. But I really believe they grabbed them first and was trying to jump ahead of, how you try to jump ahead of the story. I believe that's the reason why everybody was putting all this, it's bad, because I've never came across a story where they telling you it's bad before you seen anything, trying to prep you for it. And the president making, the president making a statement. I ain't never known the president to make no statement, and not this soon. Okay, is it really that bad? And then I said, talking to my friends, they're like, yeah, it's bad. And I'm like, well, damn.
But President Obama did make a statement during the Trayvon Martin thing. If I'm not mistaken, he made a statement in Freddie Gray and George Floyd.
No, was that before or after we saw the video?
After we saw the video, yes.
That's what I'm saying. I've never known anyone to make a statement before the video. That's why that's what had me like, this video got to be bad.
Okay, now somebody, Tazir said, I know he's controversial, but Thaddeus Matthews, that's the cousin pastor, has a lot of background on here in Facebook, lots to comb through. Can you give us more when you mean lots of information? Is it useful information?
Yeah.
Is it background information about the cops' prior conduct or reports of abuse? What type of information? I don't even know how
good.
I don't even know how someone would have intervened though. Multiple people on one. They'd probably be dead too, sadly. I think that you can't stop mob mentality. I do think you can't stop mob mentality. It was 5 officers, and I think once you show that you're not with it, it makes other people second guess their movements. If you yell stop, that's enough, and and just like not be with it, you can like bring them out of that daze that they're in my opinion. But once somebody show that they ain't with it, other people hop on board. You got a lot of feedback in the background.
I don't know, Miss Ronnie Q, because I done dated a couple of them Memphis police officers, and like I tell them, shit, y'all must have damn fool on your application to even get the job, because y'all ain't right. Them Memphis police officers ain't right. They ignorant.
Okay, hold on 1 second. 2 Shelby County deputies have been relieved of duty. Now, I'm not familiar. Is Shelby County, obviously that's different than the Memphis PD? Am I correct?
No, you have the Memphis police. Memphis is the city. Shelby is the county. Like when something happens in the city, the Memphis Police Department will come and take care of that. Outside of the city limits, you have the county, which is Shelby County. They intervene with anything that's outside of the city limits.
Okay, so Black Diva, do you have any more information on why these 2 Shelby County deputies have been relieved of their duty? Okay, let's see what she says. Everything you said, he even gave out where the officers lived. Miss Diva's
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna say this, Miss Ronnie Q, and I'm gonna get up off of here. This is just my synopsis of it, and it could be wrong. that area where all this happened, not a good area. I say that. It ain't the worst of the areas over there, but it ain't a good area. And like I said, I believe even though he ran, that area still is not well policed, well lit, well nothing. And I believe they got that man, they caught him over in that area, and they got caught. When I say it, I don't mean no harm when I say this, they got caught slipping. Because like I said, that camera was up there at the top. They didn't know the camera was up there, because if they did, they wouldn't have did that where they was. Because the reason the only person had the camera on, they body cam on, was the white man. And then when the fist gets to flying, his camera automatically, quote unquote, falls off.
Now, prior to the videos being released, I heard that you were going to hear a lot of where the drugs, where the money at. Did you hear the officers saying that? I didn't. I just thought about it now in hindsight. I didn't, so I wasn't listening for it. I'm going to go back and listen to if I hear it. But allegedly, they said the cops were saying where the drugs, where the money. I don't recall that happening. Do you?
You know, they had to clean it up. They had to clean, because like I said, going back to the beginning, in the beginning when the story came out, they stated we don't have film. We don't have film. That's why I was like, okay, who on the inside done snitched on y'all? Because y'all came out with the we don't have no film in the beginning. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, boom, some folks got fired. Then you saying you got a film. Okay, who was controlling that sky cam? And who snitched on y'all?
Did they release the sky cam to a media outlet or some outside entity which forced their hand in having to admit that there was some camera footage as well? That's a good question.
That's what they were sticking with in the beginning. They were sticking with they did not have any camera footage.
No. I mean the person who was in charge of the sky cam footage. Did they release it to an outside entity which made it impossible for the police department to say that they didn't have any video?
The only thing I can remember them saying was, I'm just gonna go in chronological order from what I heard. We don't have no camera. We don't have no video. The people got arrested. Next, we have video. Next, we gonna hold the video for a certain time. Boom, everybody got to get their stories together, and we got to get it together and make it seem good.
Okay. Somebody's you got feedback, so when you get done talking, can you mute your mic?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No problem. Somebody says they I guess you're saying they filed a FOIA request, the Freedom of Information Act. So is that how you saying that they got the camera footage? But if they're denying there was any camera footage with that FOIA request, get them some camera footage. Okay, after the sheriff reviewed footage, 2 Shelby County deputies were placed on leave. This news just released a few minutes ago. This news was just released a few minutes ago. Thank you, Black Diva, for that information.
Well, see, that's what I was saying.
Wait a minute. Hold on. But that sounds quite suspicious that this happened on the 7th of January, and you telling me this is the first time the motherfucker decided to view the camera footage when he obviously had knowledge that his deputies were at the scene of this bullshit. So, see, that's another one. You see what I'm saying? This shit happened on the 7th of January. This didn't happen last week, last week, a couple of days ago. This happened on January 7th, and now all of a sudden, the day that they released the body cam footage to the public, he had every ample opportunity to have been reviewed this shit. Oh, these motherfuckers make me sick with they bullshit. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The investigators are looking for more video footage.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind me, I get up every morning at 3. The one thing, and I noticed about these news channels here, you got to watch you have to watch the right news channel to get the accurate information. And for the folks that's in the chat that are from this area, I watch channel 3. And it was said that they did not have video footage. They did say that.
Somebody's disagreeing. They said it was never said that there wasn't video. We always knew the video existed. Well, I always knew because I just found out about the story last week. So, and when I found out about the story last week, they were talking about video was hard to watch and all this type of stuff. I think that's when it hit the national stage. So at the point where I learned about it, they were always talking about video, but I don't know, you living locally, what they were saying. So that's some insight into that as well. I don't
On
remember.
Channel 3, they did in Channel 3, it was at 4:30, the 4:30 news, 4:35 a.m. newscast. Then when they first told about the man was in the hospital.
Was this the day after the assault? So would that be the January 8th newscast?
Nah, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you what day it was. I just know I was up in the morning, getting ready for work in the morning. So I know it was either on the it was on the 4:30 or 5 a.m. broadcast where I first heard it.
Okay.
First they said that they didn't have individual in the hospital, police incident.
What is the station number? Channel 3
WREG, Channel 3.
WREG?
Channel 3.
Okay, that's the one that I showed them doing the investigation. Okay, well, I thank you for all the information that you were able to give us. So, and the officers.
Yes, ma'am. I'll go and look and see if I can find that newscast.
That would be
broadcast for you. And
that would be great if you can come back and drop it, and we can hear them lie and say that there was no video footage, if that is truly what they said. And now the officers' addresses are all over Facebook. Okay, and no, I'm not to you, but like my sentiments about it being all over Facebook. Okay, and play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Okay. One of my sisters that live in Memphis just sent us the police cam footage from the news, and oh my God, it's horrific. Yes, it's very. Okay. Why so many people on one scene? Girl, they have 6 cars show up to a traffic stop nowadays. It's ridiculous. They calling for backup for traffic stops when they know they're going to pull a person out of the car because they know they're finna do some heinous stuff. Now, at this point, they had already done some heinous stuff. And they said that you noticed that the people in the black clothes were part of that Scorpion unit, so they didn't wear uniforms. So then you also had uniform cops showing up as well. So join the conversation. Yes, please hit the link if anybody want to join the conversation. Kay Chanel, it seems like you live in Memphis as well. If you have anything, or in Tennessee maybe as well. So if you guys locally have anything to add, because we're on the outside and we're here. Memphis, no, she's in Arkansas. Okay, I guess you're talking to someone else. Hey Trina, how you doing? Okay, going back to the clouds. Good night. Thank you for your information. All right, so I guess let me see what Kay Chanel said. Yes, I live in Memphis. Kay Chanel, did you want to hit the link and discuss what's going on in your city? You're more than welcome. Yes, I'm from Memphis. Okay, yeah, Miss Diva One. Yeah, Miss Diva One, we know you from Memphis. So if anybody want to hit the link or talk about it, if you're not from Memphis and you just want to share your opinion about what you saw in this footage, if you want to disagree with what you heard on this panel, you're more than welcome up here to give your viewpoints and what you think about it. And if not, I think that I'm gonna try to wait a couple of minutes and see what Miss Diva has to say about this, trying to find that footage. But I also have footage of this young lady, a Black Lives Matter activist, who was speaking on this topic of the Memphis police. And she was the one who gave out the information that basically the Memphis PD has a bad reputation in how they police the citizens of Memphis. So I'm just going to play a little tidbit of this to give you her perspective on what she feels like goes on with the Memphis Police Department. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me find the timestamp. One second. Okay. Let me share my screen and let you hear what she says that goes on as far as what some of the residents who are policed by this police department feel about the Memphis PD. Okay.
Not here with me anymore. He will never walk through that door again. He will never come in and say, hello, parents, because that's what he would do. He would come in and say, hello, parents.
We go now to Memphis, where we're joined by Amber Sherman. She's a community organizer and a member of the official Black Lives Matter Memphis chapter. Amber's also the host and creator of the podcast, The Law According to Amber. Amber, thanks so much for joining us in these deeply horrifying times, especially in Memphis right now. You were there last night at the protest. Can you first respond to how you found out about what's happened and what your reaction is, what you're calling for?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I found out about what happened to Tyre from other organizers because honestly, violence by police happens so much in Memphis that I feel it doesn't even reach mainstream media. Oftentimes, Tyre's untimely death was the fourth time someone had been murdered by police in the last 2 months since December. So we're definitely not a place that's used to experiencing that kind of violence. And I was horrified to hear that 5 people were involved and literally beating someone to death is extremely disgusting, but it's also not a surprise considering the way the police here treat people in Memphis. We are extremely over-policed. Every experience that my friends have had and folks that I know has been violent. They immediately approach situations with violence. They don't give us the respect that they want us to give them. It's always, you're a criminal, and how can we put you down, or how can we put you in your place?
So I'm wondering if you can tell us then about the response of Memphis officialdom. For example, the police chief, who is an African-American woman, been there, for about a year and a half, C.J. Davis, said what she saw was heinous, reckless, inhumane, and horrific. And interestingly, in an interview she did today, she said, though she couldn't see it on body cam footage, the reason for the traffic stop, they claimed he was driving recklessly. She said when she looked at all the video around, as they can look at a community, she couldn't even see that. What do you think of, to say the least, not only the police chief, but all of these officials from Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, et cetera, saying this was criminal, heinous, inhumane? Is that consistent with your experience of how they deal with issues of police brutality in the community?
Yes. Like folks have been saying over the past few years, this experience among Black people isn't abnormal. It's literally just being caught on camera. We have experienced this same kind of violence over and over and over again in our communities. And their cute little statements don't mean anything to me because the Scorpion unit still exists. The different task force units still exist. Unless she's willing to take some action, honestly, she can keep the cute statements. It does nothing for us.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it off right there. And if you guys want to go and see the rest of this interview with this Black Lives Matter Black Lives Matter person. There's the link. I dropped the link for the rest of that interview. It is a very revealing interview about the workings of the city government and how they handle complaints and things that go unanswered in the city of Memphis regarding the police force. So please avail yourself to that. Thank you. Okay, Chanel just sent me an email about the Scorpion task force. So I'm gonna go to this right quick and see what we have here. One second, please. Okay, the Scorpion unit. Chanel, is this a video? Let me see. Okay. Oh, very interesting. Thank you, Chanel. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you guys one more time. And let's see. Let's check this out. Okay, this is somebody who's sharing his experience with the Scorpion unit. And let's check it out and see what he has to say.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best.
Oops, commercial. 1 second.
The 5 fired Memphis police officers hadn't been with MPD long, and police haven't told us what units they worked with during their time on the force. But some who know the officers say at least one confirmed he, and we're hearing several, were with the newly created Scorpion Squad that MPD started in 2021 as a solution to fight crime.
Their job is to identify the target area, flood that area with officers, and suppress crime in that area, mostly by visibility. Just being present and having the officers there, it sees an impact on it.
And this audio from Broadcastify of police radio traffic the night of Tyre Nichols' beating specifically mentions calling more Scorpion units to the scene.
You know, the Scorpion car pull over to East Ranger Road, you have one running on foot.
Cornell McKinney says the same Scorpion unit stopped him January 3rd, 4 days before Nichols was pulled over.
I actually read it on the back of their vest. It said MPD Scorpion unit.
It was at this Marathon gas station at Ridgeway in Knight Arnold as he was catching a ride with a friend.
All I heard is freeze, get out the car. Put your MF hands up before I blow your heads off. Both of you, get out the car. So put your hands up. So I put my hands up, and one of the officers proceeded to come to the car, and he physically pulled me out by my shoulder with a gun no more than a foot away from my head.
He says the officers in unmarked cars would never say why they had been stopped. He took this picture of the stop. They eventually asked who the drugs belonged to.
I said, man, I just went across the street to get a pizza, and I'm on my way back to the house. He's like, well, who finna ride for this pound? I said, well, can we call my lawyer? And the officers, he yelled out, well, this ain't court. This ain't a time for lawyer. I was like, man, I just came to get a pizza. So he was like, man, we just playing. It ain't a pound in a car. And he let me walk off.
He showed us his call log when he says he placed 2 phone calls to MPD's internal affairs to complain about the officer's forcefulness. But he says he still hasn't heard back. Then he saw the picture of the 5 officers fired in the Tyre Nichols case.
I was like, that's them. I said, that's crazy. That's them. I said, now they done really hurt somebody. This could have been prevented if the internal affairs took action like I was asking them to do.
We asked Memphis police about the stop involving Cornell McKinney and are also waiting to hear back. Those who know some of the officers are waiting to see how all of this plays out. Former Shelby County Sheriff's Captain Benny Cobb says he has spoken with one of the fired officers who he coached years ago.
It's been a roller coaster ride. emotionally for him. He's been in my office. I prayed with him a couple of times, shared some information with him, and now as a result of termination, there are more questions that's being asked. I know the human person. Now, if he's guilty of what he's accused of and what he's been terminated for, of course justice has to be served.
April Thompson, WREG News Channel 3.
And as April mentioned, we are working to get more information from MPD.
Wow. Okay. So there's that. Yeah, it's a roller coaster ride when you do the things that was done to this young man. Yeah, maybe you need to go on a roller coaster ride, like we need to care about his roller coaster ride. So they had been already warned about how these people pull up on people. We saw how they pulled up on Tyre when they accosted him and dragged him out of the car. And you have another person saying that he was done the same way. They asked about who's going to ride for this pound. So they were actually saying a pound of drugs was found in this car to get somebody to start talking. So you can implicate yourself in some shit that wasn't even there, and then turn around and say, oh, it's not a pound in here. And they were allowed to operate freely with this type of behavior in the neighborhood until, like that young man said, his calls went unreturned, and then they wound up doing this to someone else. It's just really, really ridiculous and really, really sad. It's sad. So, yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate you, K. Chanel. I pulled up to that exact store the same night, and it was about 8 unmarked Chargers, and they were out in their cars in those same black hoodies, just standing around and talking. Yeah, probably giving high fives and congratulating themselves for scaring the hell out of another black man, because they think that since they are cops, they're officers, that they are above these black citizens. It just makes me really, really sick. Anyway, Beef Sector clicks, hey, I feel so hurt right now. If only they had looked into the allegations. Tyre may still be here. This really messed me up. Exactly. I agree. And I don't want to hear about any roller coaster ride that these officers are going through, because they act as if they don't know the perils of being a black man in the United States of America. And then they turn around and do this to somebody who is their brother. I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say, all skin folk ain't kin folk. I was just about to say that, and I clicked on your comment. We're right there, L. Right there, L. Imagine the amount of women they may have taken advantage of. Yes, imagine. So I'm going to drop the link one more time. If anybody else has anything that they want to voice about this topic, you're more than welcome to come up, share your viewpoint. All I have to add right now is, I'm just really praying for this family. Rest in peace, Tyre Nichols. And it's just really a sad situation all the way around. So I want to thank all my mods for coming out, modding. I definitely want to thank you guys for coming in and giving me your thoughts and viewpoints on what's been going on with this story. I want to thank K. Chanel and Diva One and the Miss O for giving us information from a local standpoint as residents of the state of Tennessee. And I also want to thank Jess Andreas for coming up, for giving me her thoughts and viewpoints on the situation. And let me see, one more comment. I posted a link under your last community post on your wall. It speaks a lot of the ways I was saying, still looking through TGE archives for that news report. Okay, if you get it, just drop it under my community post for either video, this one or my last video, and I would definitely post it on my community wall because you guys know more information than we do about this situation. So I just really would appreciate if the chat would just join me in a moment of silence for the family of Tyre Nichols, and for his soul to just find some peace after that brutality that he had to go out. So let's just have a moment of silence as we go out, and please share this video with anybody. And I really thank you all for showing up. Good night.